Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jennifer Meckles.
And I'm Kim Christensen. Police are looking for a suspect who shot a boy in Greeley. This happened last night. The victim is in the hospital in critical condition. Police say it happened at an apartment complex around 9 p.m. on West 24th Street near 35th Avenue. They found a boy with multiple gunshot wounds and severe injuries. Police haven't released his age, but say he is under the age of 18 years old. Police are still looking for the suspect. If you have any information, you are asked to call police.
Aurora police say one of their officers shot a man that had tried to kill somebody in Denver. APD says its SWAT team and Denver's Police Department fugitive unit were both trying to arrest this man near East Alameda Avenue and South Havana Street this morning when they say a SWAT officer shot him. They've not said what led up to that shooting or if the man was armed himself. First responders took him to the hospital. At last check, he was in the ICU. The officer who shot this man is now on administrative leave. That is standard in a situation like this. We spoke with a woman who lives nearby this scene. She says the large police presence didn't faze her because she's used to hearing gunshots in the area.
Just like two months ago or so, not even 2 months probably, but there was a bunch of shell casings next to our cars. My boyfriend came out to check to make sure none of them got hit. And there was a lot of shots at me. But yeah, we hear shots all the time.
Police have not released many details about what that man was wanted for exactly, just that it was an attempted homicide, and it happened earlier this month near 48th in Colorado.
Castle Rock police say they're looking for two people tonight who robbed a store, carjacked someone, and then led officers on chase. Police say three people robbed a store at the outlets at Castle Rock, and then while one of them ran to a nearby apartment complex, the two other suspects carjacked someone. Police say they chased the stolen car north on I-25, then east on E-470, while they were speeding and driving into oncoming traffic. Police then called off the chase, saying it was unsafe to continue. None, the three suspects, custody tonight.
We reached 80 degrees in the metro today. Some gusty winds did roll through this afternoon, though. Very different in the high country with rain, snow mix today near Loveland Ski Area. What a beautiful view of nothing out that window. And you can check out a moose that was caught in the snow even in Steamboat Springs today. Here we are getting ready for the unofficial kickoff to summer, Kathy, and
I know.
Snowing in Steamboat.
We got a little bit of everything.
That's what you should see it all in Colorado, right?
You absolutely do.
It's not what makes it special.
In May and June, we can see a moose on the loose in the snow in Steamboat, sunshine and 80 degrees in Denver. Quite the windstorm this afternoon with the front that was moving in and severe weather just outside our state's border. And outside now, clear skies and a big bright full moon. It's windy and cooler tonight, sunny and mild tomorrow. We've got a few storms coming in for the weekend and really just a nice evening. The winds have laid down a little bit. That front is through, so temperatures are mildest to the south of the front, coolest to the north of the front. We're down to 51 in Denver, and you can really see where those winds are blowing out across northeastern Colorado, all part of a weather system that's setting off a line of severe weather across Nebraska and Kansas this evening. The main system stays north of us. This severe thunderstorm watch has proven true with rotating storms and thunderstorms with large hail, a few light showers around Sterling and Fort Morgan, but the snow showers are tapering off in the mountains. A prime concern is this area just south and east of North Platte, where large hail and tornadoes still going with these storms tonight. Coming up, we'll check the radar again and give you that weekend forecast in detail.
Thanks, Kathy. A man will spend the rest of his life in prison for shooting and killing John Jarris, a volunteer firefighter in Glen Haven. A judge sentenced 22-year-old Jeremy Rocha in Adams County today for the 2022 road rage shooting on I-70 near Tower Road. Jarris and his family were on their way to camp for Father's Day. Rocha shot into the car 9 times. Jarris's wife gave an emotional witness victim statement today.
Some of the memories we have as a family have begun to fade. They are now words on a page to try to remember him by. But the bright, vivid horror of witnessing his last moments remain.
Rocha claims self-defense. Last week, a jury convicted him of second-degree murder and 4 counts of attempted murder related to his wife and kids who were in the car. Today, the judge sentenced Rocha to life in prison without the possibility of parole, plus 192 years. Tomorrow, Elijah Hood is scheduled for a competency hearing. He is accused of killing 3 people in a shooting at an apartment complex near Green Valley Ranch in 2022. The victims include his aunt and a 4-year-old child. Hood faces 3 charges of first-degree murder. His hearing is set for 1:30 tomorrow afternoon.
Tonight, police have identified the man investigators say is behind a crime spree in Wheat Ridge from this past week. Police released these pictures today of a man named Francisco Gonzalez. Investigators say the 37-year-old shoplifted at a King Soopers yesterday, and then when he tried to get away, hit a patrol car and 2 other cars. One person in one of those cars was treated and released from a hospital from their injuries. If you know where Gonzalez is, please call Wheat Ridge Police. And DPD is asking for your help finding whoever vandalized a building on the campus of the University of Denver. There was a reward now even for anybody who has information. School officials say somebody used a fake emergency call to distract authorities while someone else threw red paint on the Ritchie School of Engineering and Computer Science building. Police say the vandalism caused significant damage to the property. If you have any information about this, you can submit a tip anonymously to Metro Denver Crime Stoppers, and you could earn yourself up to $2,000.
State legislators have wrapped up their session, but lawmakers and lobbyists gathered at the Colorado Capitol today.
9 News reporter Ria Jha joins us live from the Capitol tonight. Ria, they were holding a protest rally against some of the bills that the governor has now vetoed.
Right, they were rallying for workers' rights. The whole area in front of the Capitol was filled with hundreds of people who were upset with the governor's veto of 3 bills.
Who's got the power? We got the power! Yeah!
Workers gathered in protest of the governor's decision to veto 3 bills in support of workers' rights last Friday.
Because I can't even begin to tell you how many labor groups are here.
I'm excited the way labor has come together today.
Mark Thompson is a carpenter. He says he drove up from Colorado Springs to send a message to the governor.
It's important that workers in the state of Colorado understand the kind of power they have when they join together.
The bills would have prevented wage theft and employer retaliation.
Hello to my union brothers and sisters, how are you today?
Senator Jesse Danielson sponsored all 3 bills.
They would have protected the rights of workers all across the state, workers that drive this economy that we all depend on.
In his statement from the governor's office, Polis vetoed the bills because in their final form, they were not in the best interest of the state, and went on to list specific changes to each bill that would have allowed them to pass.
When I say worker, you say power! Worker!
While the governor's office said Polis attempted a compromise on these bills, Senator Danielson said those changes would have gone too far.
We were unwilling to entertain any kind of an amendment that would have completely gutted the bills, removing these really critical protections for workers. From my experience, his office never reached out to me with any compromise language.
The fight continues.
These vetoes haven't discouraged anyone outside the Capitol.
Move today, but organize tomorrow.
Senator Danielson says she and other bill sponsors will bring the bills back next session.
We're not done. We will be running these bills again. We will continue to fight for workers, union and non-union.
And workers say they will be right behind them. A number of labor organizations, including the Colorado Chamber, have come out in favor of the vetoes, saying the bills would have been problematic for businesses. Now, the governor did say that he would be willing to work on the bills ahead of session in order to come to a compromise. Reporting live at the state capitol, Ria Jha, 9 News.
There's a misconception about a flavor added to certain foods. Some local restaurant owners want to change that.
And a federal lawsuit goes after Live Nation, accusing the ticketing company of predatory practices. Welcome back. After decades of bad science and bad studies around the country, people are now pushing to end the myth that MSG is bad for you.
9 News reporter Rachel Krause set out to understand what exactly MSG is and why so many of us spent decades thinking it's unhealthy.
Walk it in, pancake, market green, dumpling.
On a Friday night,
34. Thank you.
It's hard to find an open seat at MacFam.
It's been awesome. We hit the ground running.
For husband and wife, Kenneth Wan and Doris Yoon, opening up their own spot off Broadway, a perfect fit.
I've been a restaurant kid my entire life, so food and beverages come second nature to me.
Then I ended up marrying my own chef, and now we have this restaurant together.
And then Noah, you have one more beef stir fry.
When it comes to the cooking, there's one ingredient they won't leave out.
We use it like we would use salt or soy sauce. We sprinkle a little bit to enhance like the meaty umami flavor of our dishes.
MSG, or monosodium glutamate.
People think like, oh, Chinese food is not good for you, gives me a headache, gives me like, palpitation, all of these issues, and it's due to MSG, and it's unhealthy, all of these things. But, that's just a myth.
You've probably heard the rumors about MSG, but is it actually bad for you?
That is a very complicated question, and so the bottom line is actually no.
Dr. Bonnie Jortberg with CU Anschutz says MSG is found both naturally and as an additive, and it's in a whole lot more than Chinese food.
Almost all of your beef, chicken, most of your shellfish, cheese, and even some vegetables, interestingly. MSG is naturally in those, or I should say glutamate, L-glutamate, which is the type that's amino acid. So yes, it is found naturally in many, many foods that people commonly consume every single day.
So how did MSG get such a bad name in the first place?
It's very interesting how MSG really got a bad name was in the early 1960s, and there was a physician who wrote an opinion piece in the Journal of the American Medical Association that he had a bad reaction to eating foods that had MSG in it. That's kind of how the whole thing came about.
Dr. Jortberg says that letter gave way to bad studies and junk science that have long since been debunked. Even the FDA recognizes MSG as safe.
It's not the demon that it was made out to be.
But just because science caught up doesn't mean society followed.
The saddest thing about it too is to this day, we'll still have customers come in. They'll walk up to our register, and the first question they'll ask is, "Do you guys use MSG in your food?" And they're hoping we're going to say no, because that's basically the deal breaker for them.
Ken and Doris know that question goes a lot deeper.
I don't think they associate it with it being racist, but it is racist. It is racist because if you think about it, you walk in a Chinese restaurant and you ask if we use MSG, and we say yes, and you walk out. Why are you only targeting Chinese restaurants?
Most uneasy customers leave. Others try to take down restaurants like theirs for daring to use a dash of MSG in their cooking.
5 dumplings all day.
But Ken and Doris have made MSG a mainstay at MacFam.
For me, it's just, I'm just happy because I feel like MSG is such a great ingredient to use, imagine if you went to a restaurant and they couldn't use salt. You're probably not going to enjoy your meal there, right?
They proudly proclaim its position in their recipes and educate where they can.
Every chance that I get to highlight the ingredient, to spread the message and share the love for MSG, I do.
Both hoping to see the stale stigma surrounding MSG expire for good.
It'd be great if one day we can just normalize MSG and it just be on the same tier as salt, sugar, pepper, garlic powder, MSG. To me, that'll be the day. And I don't know if I'll live long enough to see that. Maybe our kid will, but that's all we can. All we can hope for. Just at least start the initiative.
Now, Dr. Jortberg says less than 1% of the population is sensitive to MSG, and they might experience flushed skin, dizziness, shortness of breath. But she says the vast majority of people can consume MSG very safely, and they're likely already consuming a lot of it in their diet every single day. Now, guys, I've got a lot of different products here that have naturally occurring MSG or monosodium glutamate or L-glutamate here in it. Things that you would eat every day, like beef, sharp cheddar, Parmesan cheese also has a lot of MSG. We've got tomatoes here. A lot of vegetables would have MSG naturally in it. A lot of shellfish like shrimp are going to have MSG in it. And then you've got the real thing. This is an MSG additive that you can add to your food. Kind of an umami taste to it.
But either way, it's not going to hurt the vast majority of people, whether it's something like
Absolutely.
this or coming in.
Exactly. It's something that you can consume very safely as long as you don't consume copious amounts of it. It's something that's very, very safe for you to have.
I think everything in moderation is just generally a good.
Yeah. I bet nobody walks in and says, can you give me a double dose of MSG? They want just the flavor to, like, as it's cooked. Okay. All right. Good deal. All right. Thank you.